Wow. This is one of the greatest things that Nintendo has ever done. I love this pro-consumer era of the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Creators Program is coming to a close at the end of December, so how are we going to upload like Nintendo content if there's no creator program? We're making it easier for creative fans to show their love for Nintendo and monetize videos that include Nintendo game content. Take a look at the guidelines. Don't worry, we're going to take a look at the guidelines. But first I want to talk about the actual program itself, because it was so broken, it was so bad. Nintendo just took 30% of your ad revenue, and then when it came to networks and MCNs and stuff, I think like they took 30%, then the network took whatever their cut was, so you're just ending up with so little money. It was sad, but the biggest gripe that people had about it is that being a part of the program was effectively useless if you were trying to do new game content, because it could take up to 3 days. You had to submit your video to get approved, to then upload it, and then have it like back-checked against their system and stuff. So yeah, approval can take up to 72 hours from when you submit a request. So if you're in this program, news, nada. New game uploads, nada. Not allowed to do any of that. That's a problem. Also, live streaming on YouTube falls outside the scope of the Nintendo Creators Program. So you couldn't even live stream. You couldn't even do any live content, because what Nintendo was trying to do was like crack down on foul language and like, you know, more adult content being focused around Nintendo games, and it ended up just being terrible for everyone, because then they were also greedy on top of that without any vetting, and yeah, can see what they were going for, but this was also in 2015, I believe. So that means they were already way behind the times, because by that point, the gaming YouTube wars were over. Like, Nintendo was one of the last holdouts with, I believe, Sega, that were just, like, still giving people copyright strikes and still being difficult to work around over copyrighted game content and stuff. And a lot of other game companies were like, look, it's promotion, we're gonna let you do it. So then Nintendo's response, instead of letting people do it, was to monetize it. But now, they have joined the ranks. 2019, glorious year. Everyone is going to be safe is what it looks like. And this is actually better than it was. I think like Nintendo has now passed a lot of gaming companies because you can use trailers and Nintendo Direct content. I kind of want to jump to that. Don't worry, we're going to read through the whole thing just in case you're confused. Just in case you want to make YouTube videos about Nintendo videos or Nintendo games and stuff. Product trailers and Nintendo Directs. I love this. Now, classically, a lot of people were getting content claim for Pokemon Sun and Moon. Like, Game Freak was magic. Because, like, playing Pokemon and being on the Pokemon side of things was actually really safe. Because Game Freak didn't, like, since they're kind of like a separate entity to Nintendo while being affiliated with Nintendo, they usually didn't copyright gameplay and stuff. It was usually like Nintendo take you down for a Mario game or a Legend of Zelda game or something like that. But Game Freak was usually nice. So you could get a good start in Pokemon. So that's why it worked out for me. But I was always worried about trailers and Nintendo Directs. And also, since one of the trailers for Pokemon Sun and Moon had the Z moves for the starter Pokemon, those animations were automatically getting copyright claimed. That shouldn't happen anymore. So now, product trailers and Nintendo Directs. I like this, because if you notice, for all the Nintendo Directs and news announcements and stuff, I have a face cam. I try to make like a cheesy little border or something. That's for fair use. I do like doing the face cam, but sometimes, you know, if I wake up at 7 in the morning and I feel gross, I don't want to do a face cam, but I only force it out there. That's why I look a little shaggy and stuff, because I don't want to get copyright claimed, even as a managed partner. Like, that's the thing. I haven't had to be a part of the Nintendo program ever because I'm a managed partner. But if you weren't, and you weren't premium, things get weird. And also, I'm only losing, like, my managed, or, yeah, my network, Freedom. You can actually find a link in the description if you want to sign up. So if you want to sign up for Freedom, now this is my personal plug because you can make Nintendo content. You should be able to find a link in the description down below. I have a really good rate. I have a 95.5% share, so they only take 5% when a lot of other networks take like 10, 15, 20, and Nintendo was taking 30, and they were being super outdated about it. But yeah, so now I don't have to worry about getting copyright claimed on just commentating over Nintendo Directs. Now, this isn't a free pass. This isn't a free pass. You do need to follow copyright law. So we're humbled every day by your loyalty and passion for Nintendo games, characters, and worlds. Respect that you want to be able to express yourself creatively by sharing your own original videos and images using content for our games. This is great PR. I like that they're kind of like acknowledging, you know, this was the mindset that people had years ago, the game developers had years ago, and Nintendo's like, fine, just gonna let you do it. We're gonna let you love our stuff. And this is all that we've wanted. Thank you, Nintendo. Thank you very much. So you create appropriate content for the video, image sharing sites, help guide you. We have the following guidelines. You may monetize your videos and channels using monetization methods separately specified by Nintendo. Other forms of monetization or intellectual property for commercial use are not permitted. We're going to get to that. Pretty much, it's not bad. Like, it works. It's what we needed. We encourage you to create videos that include your creative input and commentary. Videos and images that contain mere copies of Nintendo game content without creative input or commentary are not permitted. So fair use. Follow fair use and you're fine. You may, however, post gameplay video screenshots using Nintendo system features captured on Nintendo Switch without any input or commentary. So if you want to do like Switch direct upload and you have like a 30-second clip or some fun commentary for your YouTube, you can get away with that as well. You're only permitted to use Nintendo game content that has been officially released. I really hope a lot of that pirated stuff gets taken down when it comes to Let's Go, especially Super Smash Bros. I think this might be one, like with the Super Smash Bros. Also being leaked and pirated earlier. I think they're just kind of doing like a lot of takedowns and trying to give people an outlet where it's like, fine, just follow the rules, okay? We don't want to worry about having to strike everyone, but just follow the rules and we're going to let you enjoy Nintendo games, stuff like that. Or from promotional materials. So the promotional materials, I like this, because I didn't feel as safe. And you hear, like, every once in a while you hear about a YouTuber or a PokeTuber getting like a copyright strike, a takedown, or just demonetized, or having their ad revenue claimed on certain trailers and Nintendo Directs. So we're good now. Want to use intellectual property of a third party? You have to get that. Not permitted to imply or state your videos are officially affiliated with Nintendo. Yep. We reserve the right to remove any content that we believe is unlawful, infringing, inappropriate, not in line with these guidelines. So I like that. You know, this is kind of going back to the reason why the creator program existed when it came down to inappropriate content. But now they can just kind of be like, oh, this guy's swearing too much. This guy isn't representing family-friendly Nintendo. They can remove him. It's under guidelines. Everyone else is safe. So instead of like preemptively trying to stop that, they're letting people go. I like that. What kind of content are acceptable under these guidelines? What content is not acceptable? We encourage you to use Nintendo game content in videos, images that feature creative input, commentary. Let's play videos, video game reviews that are within the scope of the guidelines. So again, you know, you can't just do like a game review where it's like 20 minutes of gameplay where you're not commentating at the end. You say it's good. Fair use applies. However, you may not simply upload live stream existing Nintendo video, gameplay footage without your own creative input, or a copy of content created by someone else. For example, mere copies of Nintendo promotional trailers, tournaments, music soundtracks, gameplay sequences, or collections are outside the scope of the guidelines. I like this, because like if they're saying tournaments, music, soundtracks, gameplay sequences, and art collections, that means if you're commentating over that, you're still good to go. I think that's going to be big for the Smash scene as well. Yes, guidelines cover both uploads and live streams. And then this is what I was talking about earlier with the monetization methods separately specified by Nintendo. Sounds like, oh, there's a catch. Except there isn't a catch. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Nico, and never heard of that before, but if you're in that content creators program, then you're fine. So we have this, and then you're set. But now there's other things, you know. Can I sell content that I create and upload or live stream on a sharing platform that includes Nintendo game content? You may not sell videos, music, images created using Nintendo game content. Can I upload live stream content that is based on other Nintendo intellectual property? Now, this is where it gets like a little fuzzy and stuff, because I think Nintendo's trying to do a lot to protect themselves legally, because they like you can't just say, hey, you're allowed to use our things, and then just think everything's going to be okay. People are going to try to abuse it and take advantage. That's why we have these guidelines. So I feel like there's some things that Nintendo is probably going to be cool with, but don't commercialize it and you'll be okay. That's why they have this, you know, about other Nintendo intellectual property, such as fan art. Guidelines only cover the sharing of Nintendo game content on appropriate video and image sharing sites. Any other use is not, or like, is outside the scope of the subject, relevant laws, and applicable jurisdiction. Nintendo cannot provide legal advice to you, so we encourage you to seek your own legal counsel if you have questions about whether particular proposed use is permitted. So I think what they mean about this, they're still keeping the rights where if they don't like the fan art, if they feel it's being too commercialized, or taking the intellectual property where they don't want it to go, they can take it down. Also, I'm not, you know, legal counsel or anything like that, but I feel like if you do certain fan art, again, that's in line with loving, respecting, and promoting Nintendo, they could probably see it and they might not take it down. So I think you can get away with some things, but again, this is mostly about game content, so that's something to keep in mind. What if I record someone playing an unreleased game at a public event, such as Gaming Expo? This is big. Please keep in mind that most public events have filming guidelines, and you are responsible for following those guidelines. If you're unsure, please check with on-site staff before uploading or live streaming your video. We also reserve the right to remove any content we believe is all that stuff. Planning on hosting a gaming tournament using Nintendo games. A video of that is applicable to video and image sharing sites. Are these activities subject to the guidelines? Uploading and live streaming Nintendo game content from a Nintendo authorized or licensed tournament is within the scopes. However, hosting a tournament separate activity is outside the scope of the guidelines. This is kind of like loosely related, but not related to the content things. Like hosting a tournament Nintendo doesn't really like that. But I know that when it comes to this, you know, they're going to keep up the Twitch streams of Super Smash Bros. They like the content that's going, like VG Bootcamp and stuff for Super Smash. Are they Nintendo authorized? I'm not, but also there's like a lot of other side events and side tournaments. I don't know if they're explicitly Nintendo authorized either. So it's like outside the scope, but I think this is again for protection. So that way if like something pops up that Nintendo doesn't like, they can take it down. If not, you know, your comment, like, what does that say? I'm planning to host using it and using Nintendo video games, upload a live stream video of that tournament. Okay, see, I think I get it now. Because they made it weird when it's like Nintendo authorized. But what about an unauthorized tournament? I don't know. But also hosting the tournament is a separate activity. So that's what they're trying to make clear. I guess like the commentary and all that still falls within the guidelines. It's interesting. And then under the guidelines, can corporate entities upload live stream videos and screenshots? Guidelines only applicable to individual consumers using Nintendo game content. So not trying to have like someone corporate go and take, you know, intellectual property stuff. So yeah, what do you mean by unlawful, infringing, inappropriate? That's kind of at the bottom off the screen. Violates applicable laws, infringes intellectual property rights of Nintendo, features pirated Nintendo software. There was a lot of that for Let's Go, but I don't think it got taken down, which is unfortunate. Even though it says like upload date November 13th. Well, that's pretty easy. But yeah, so it just kind of shows you can get away with a lot. Follow fair use laws, follow copyright laws, don't pirate the games, and you're going to be fine. So there we go, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.